In any case, you know this, you call yourself Lord of Thunder, God of Thunder.
I've never met this man in my life.
He's my brother.
Adopted.
Is he any kind of a fighter?
You take this thing out of my neck and I'll show you.
Oh, listen to that. He's threatening me. Hey, Sparkles, here's the deal. If you want to get back to Asperg.
Asgard.
Any contender who defeats my champion, their freedom they shall win.
Fine, then point me in the direction of whoever's ass I have to kick.
That's what I call contender. Direction would be this way, Lord.
Ah, Loki!
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. A couple of weeks ago, it was half term, and I was off from doing the Radio 5 live film show that I do with Simon Mayo. And often when that happens, people get quite cross if I've missed movies. So why haven't you reviewed this? Why haven't you reviewed that? So what I tried to do is to catch up with all the things I didn't do in the week that I was off. So I went to the cinema to see Jigsaw. And I went to the cinema to see Bad Mum's Christmas, which wasn't being press screened. And I went to the cinema to see Thor, Ragnarok, to make sure that I covered all the stuff that was going to be in the top 10. And an interesting thing happened. Firstly, in the case of Jigsaw, now you'll probably know that I'm not a huge fan of the Saw movies. I thought the first one was good, and there have been kind of some interesting ideas in the sequels, but generally it's been a law of diminishing returns. But I went to see Jigsaw on the night that it opened. I went with somebody who's a really big fan of the Saw movies, and the audience seemed to be the kind of the hardcore Saw fans. And I kind of enjoyed the film. I think it's rubbish and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it messes with the timeline in a way that is completely, kind of illogical. But it didn't matter, because I was in a cinema with a bunch of people who were enjoying the film. I kind of felt like it was like a Fright Fest crowd. Then I went to see Thor Ragnarok, and I was in town, so I had to go and see it at a great big screen in 3D, and it was kind of hardcore Thor fans there, because you spent quite a lot of money to see a film in a big IMAX presentation in 3D in the West End. And because it was a sort of hardcore audience, they all seemed pretty knowledgeable, they all seemed to like the movie, they all seemed to really enjoy it. I mean, I knew I was going to enjoy it anyway, because people had said it's really funny, and I like the director, and I like the idea of that sense of fun that it had, but I thought the movie was pretty good. Then I went to the Wednesday evening preview of A Bad Mum's Christmas. Now, if you're a regular here, you'll know that when Bad Mums came out, I paid to go and see a preview because they weren't press screening it. I thought it wasn't a movie that was going to go down well with the press. And I went along and I enjoyed it much more than I thought. I went in with terribly low expectations. I had a pizza beforehand. I had a beer. I sat there with, sort of semi-packed audience, and everyone laughed at all the jokes. And I thought it was sort of really entertaining. Plus, it had a really good gag at the end about Al Pacino in Cruising, which really won me over.
Christmas is supposed to be fun. Say Christmas back.
In the case of Bad Mum's Christmas, it's nothing like as good as Bad Mum's. I mean, it's all over the place. It's fragmentary, and the story doesn't hold together. There's not a single enemy. There's lots of different enemies. And it's really a mess of a film. But again, I saw it on opening night, and the people who were there were the people who wanted to see A Bad Mum's Christmas, and they chuckled, and they laughed, and they giggled, and they kind of enjoyed it. And I laughed 5 or 6 times, which is more than I would laugh in some comedies. Now, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying that I did kind of enjoy it. And it made me think about something. Because I've talked on the blog here so many times about being in cinemas where people spoilt the experience, because people are talking, people are on their phones, people are, wandering in and out, and there's no ushers, and nobody's taking care of the auditorium, and it gets in the way of the cinema experience. But in all 3 cases, Thor Ragnarok, Bad Mum's Christmas, and indeed Jigsaw, I have the feeling that I enjoyed the film more because I was seeing it with a home crowd, because I was seeing it with a crowd of people who were kind of getting into the film. And I started thinking about critic screenings when we all tend to sort of sit rather stuffily and keep our reactions to ourselves, because everybody's kind of very territorial about their own responses. So tell me, what's the best experience you've had in a cinema in which you've seen a film that you knew maybe wasn't so great? I mean, I think Thor is really good, but seen something that maybe wasn't so great, but you were won over because it was working with the audience. And which film do you think that you liked under those circumstances would have looked very different at a 9 o'clock critic screening with stuffy people like me sitting there with their notebooks and their pens, writing down all the things that are wrong with it? I mean, I am starting to think that there are cases in which a movie really does need to be seen with an audience for you to make a sensible judgment about it.
Let's put the ass back in Christmas.
What?
That didn't come out exactly as I planned it, but you guys get what
Yeah, we know what you meant.